This movie begins in a place called Ichabod, with Damian Wayne investigating a case on his own. It turns out there have been some child kidnappings in Gotham over the past few months, and Damian believes this abandoned toy store might have something to do with it. Soon enough, we can see that he was right, as we quickly find some caged children. And one of the most deranged villains we'll see in this animated universe actually appears in this movie. Toyman, instead of battling Robin, is defended by those he victimized. These children whom he has mutilated, turning them into little monsters without conscience. At this moment, Batman enters the scene and takes care of the infants, while Robin chases after. Inevitably, this guy manages to get caught and Damian resists killing this psychopath, remembering his father's words.
Justice, not vengeance. Justice, not vengeance.
However, at that moment, a new character enters the scene and murders Toyman from behind. He literally rips his heart out. After doing this, he leaves just as Batman was arriving and finds the corpse. Obviously, he believes that Damian was the culprit. However, Damian does nothing more than take offense and leaves before the police arrive. And so, with this brief introduction, this movie Batman vs. Robin begins. At the mansion, Wayne, Bruce is on a date with Samantha Banniber. And after a small dinner, he ends up showing her a project he has in mind to improve Gotham and turn it into a better city. Well, this moment is interrupted by Damian, who was in the room. And as a result of this small presentation, they make us understand that Bruce has not yet publicly introduced his son, Samantha. He leaves these two alone, who have gradually been noticing small details they have in common. And apparently, they have forgotten the incident that occurred with Toyman. That same night, Robin tries to bypass the mansion's security and head to the city. However, he is unable to do so and is caught by Bruce. And here we realize that in reality, these two still have problems and still don't trust each other very much. Damian continues pondering the Toyman case, despite its closure, in the following nights. He asks his father if he would have killed this guy, if he would have killed him just like the other children. Of course, Bruce maintains his rule of not killing intact. Batman soon goes on patrol alone, leaving Robin in charge with Nightwing. These two stay training for a while more or less. In Gotham, Batman is investigating something related to owls at the History Museum. And this takes us back to the beginning, when next to Toyman's corpse was a feather that apparently belongs to this stuffed animal. Could it be that Toyman's killer left this glue intentionally? Bruce then remembers when his father used to tell him stories about the Court of Owls. Terrifying stories about powerful people who secretly watched over the city and were even capable of killing those who dared to mention their name. Why tell these terrible stories to an 8-year-old child? I didn't write this movie. Like the video or go to hell. Anyway, after Thomas Wayne scares little Bruce by telling him this story, he promises that they will always be there to protect him, so he should have nothing to fear. Nothing and no one will harm them. They're already dead. However, this opens a new question. Could it be that Thomas and Martha Wayne were sent to be murdered by the same Court of Owls? Returning to the present indeed, the evidence that led Bruce to the museum was a trap. As he is ambushed by some mysterious individuals, a kind of ninja zombies or something like that. The Bat has no choice but to try to escape, but he is defeated. The Bat is almost killed. But for some reason, these individuals start to fade away. Now let's move to another situation just as important. What are you using? The red one? With laces? And the thong? No, not this, but rather that Damian has escaped again. Dick Grayson realizes this. At the same time, Batman asks to be rescued. Back in the city, Robin is fighting with some assailants and this guy reappears to threaten Damian and tell him that he must kill scum like these thieves. On this occasion, Robin chases this guy and they both end up in this lair, which turns out to be this guy's house named Claw. This guy has been watching Batman and Robin for a while and, even though he respects them, he does not agree with their methods. He has decided to show up in the city to do what they dare not. However, he extends an invitation to Damian to work together. Now both are in contact, and while Robin hasn't accepted the invitation, he also hasn't rejected it. Wayne was already waiting for a badly injured Bruce at the mansion after he decided to withdraw. As usual, these two start arguing and Bruce threatens Damian with sending him to Switzerland if he continues to disobey and escape every night. Damian's attitude distances him from his father and adopted brother, causing problems. Did you really take me for a fool? It's not something very difficult? Despite everything, Dick tries to justify his brother's behavior, but the truth is that Bruce is already fed up with dealing with this. When there are dangerous killers outside who are capable of defeating him, as just happened, Damian runs away again and decides to contact Claw at the same time, while Bruce is heading to a date with Samantha. He is ambushed by some guys with owl masks. In the end, he does not manage to escape. He crashes into one of them and is captured. These individuals manage to drug him and kidnap him. After a short while, Bruce wakes up and finds himself in front of the same court of owls, and we learn a bit more about their history. It turns out they have always been real. At some point, they were the ones who ruled the entire city from the shadows, but over time their power faded and they eventually disappeared. Now they have returned and are set to reclaim the city, just like in the past. Bruce, in fact, is invited to be part of the court to build a prosperous city together, as he mentioned at the beginning of the movie. The court aims to free Gotham from all criminals and psychopaths, and also from masked vigilantes. And yes, they know they are talking to Batman himself. Bruce does not deny this offer and asks for time to think about it. However, he leaves a tracker on the mask they offered him before they take him out of the place. Later, he wakes up with his car outside the mansion. The Court of Owls talks about the threat he could represent. Bruce Wayne, the leader of the organization, and Talon discuss Damian, suggesting they aim to manipulate him as part of their scheme. They reach a lab where, seemingly, warriors from long ago have been resurrected. But apparently they don't survive long outside of these capsules, and this explains why these guys disappeared. The court's goal is to perfect these warriors, to find true immortality and form an army for Claw to lead and guide them to take over the city. They also ask Claw to voluntarily submit to this process, essentially to die and be reborn as an immortal, though he seemingly has doubts. Later we find a group of mobsters in some city building. These are surprised by Claw and also by Robin. Working together, they get to the boss and Damian starts beating him up and blaming him for the damage his drug trafficking business causes in Gotham. Claw again incites Robin to kill him, but he refuses and uses the excuse that the evidence they found is enough to lock up all these criminals. Of course, Claw is disappointed by this and keeps insisting that Robin must kill his enemies if he wants to clean up the city. That's when this guy starts to tell part of his story to get Damian to identify more with him. As a child, he greatly respected his father despite him being a thief. And even though he tried hard to impress him, it was never enough, and he was severely abused every time he failed. One night, the police came and took Claw's father away after Claw himself turned him in. He was left alone as just a child. And shortly after, it was the same Court of Owls who recruited him and trained him until he became what he is. Talon attempts to persuade Damian to view the situation as a favor, and he wasn't done speaking yet. When Batman appears, Talon decides to escape, and Robin stops Batman from following him. Apparently, Robin has chosen the side of the Owls and confronts his father. They both start to fight and end up falling off the building. Batman is injured when he hits the ground trying to protect his son, but his son doesn't care, and for a moment almost thought about killing his father. After this, Damian leaves, and once he arrives at Talon's house, he finds a note notifying him that they will keep in touch. Elsewhere in the city, we see that this villain is resting in an apartment. Here it is also revealed that the supposed leader all along was Samantha, and together with Talon they intend to lead the court once they destroy Batman. The Bat is in the sewers and manages to find some secret facilities. But the Owls were already waiting for him. During his journey through the sewers, Batman was exposed to a toxin that quickly causes him hallucinations, and now he is trapped in a nightmare. Inside his mind, we can witness the murder of his parents and a vision in which Damian has become the worst of criminals. Before he can come to his senses, Bruce apologizes to his son.
I'm so sorry.
Damian. Even though he is now conscious, he is not in a condition to go out and look for Damian, who, by the way, is currently being presented to the court as Claw's protege. Things don't go well. The court reveals that they know Batman's identity and lock up Damian. The Great Leader has commanded Claw to kill his protege. He tries to obey, but apparently his affection for Robin is real, and instead, he decides to take out the owls. Even so, Claw did not release Robin, and instead, he knocks him out and sets out to kill Bruce Wayne. When Robin wakes up, he finds himself in the lab where the court resurrects their dead. Claw then arms himself with an army before heading to the mansion. The assassins arrive to find Batman, Nightwing, and Alfred prepared and waiting for them. After doing everything possible to defend the mansion and take out the assassins, Nightwing is the first to fall. Being seriously injured, Batman protects him and faces Claw and his army alone. Fortunately, he escapes and finds safety in the Batcave with Alfred and Dick. This doesn't last long because the assassins manage to get in. Just at that moment, Damian manages to communicate with Alfred and reveals the key to defeating Talon's henchmen. These types of ninja zombies and Illuminati don't last long in sub-zero temperatures. Damian discovered this information while attempting to escape the capsule Talon locked him in. Batman hides for a few moments and Nightwing is left alone facing Talon. As usual in this movie series, Grayson is defeated. Finally, they manage to anger Bruce and he begins to attack them with a powerful armor.
I'm only going to say this once, you sons of bitches. Get out of my cave.
Even so, this doesn't quite reach the epicness of Alfred with his shotgun, if that wasn't enough. He also manages to get to the service core and activate a temperature cold enough to finish off the killers. They freeze. Now all that remains is to finish off Claw. Before reacting, the Batmobile falls on Batman and ends up destroying the armor. These two face off, but Bruce is defeated before almost being killed. Damian appears and intervenes, tries to stop Claw, but fails, and the latter is still determined to finish off Batman so that Damian has no more restrictions. However, this Robin no longer cares about remaining Claw's protege, not after everything he's done. So he confronts him once more, Robin manages to neutralize Claw, and finally he ends up committing suicide. Everything that has happened only causes more confusion in this boy. In the end, Damian Wayne makes peace with his father before leaving. The mansion is in ruins. There, Bruce Wayne awaits his son's imminent return from wherever he is. And alright, we'll leave this little video right here. I remind you that if you like this type of content, it wouldn't hurt to subscribe and turn on notifications. Anyway, I have nothing else to say. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I'm Alex for the NEGAYO channel, thank you.